Okay. All right. So if I lose you, hopefully you'll come back. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay. There we are. Yes. Well, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Psychic Funhouse. Uh, and yeah, had a little bit of a glitch there, but we're back and better than ever. This is the Psychic Funhouse. It's the live podcast psychic show that is sweeping the nation from coast to coast. And I am your co host, Mr. Lawrence A. Birch. And I'm joined by the amazing, the adroit, and the ever so popular Miss Adrian Stratton over here. So, welcome, Adrian.
Hi, Lawrence. Happy
Thanks for,
Friday.
thanks for coming along. Yeah.
How
Yeah,
are
look at
you,
that.
my friend? How are you?
Yeah. Your fans are happy for you to be here. All right. Well, it's been a crazy week, and it's only going to get crazier this weekend. There is a crazy parade that supposedly is going to happen unless lightning uh, prevents that, which would be a very welcome thing. And then there are going to be some gatherings of the people, let's say, in lots of different places,
Yeah.
protesting. So more power to them. Hope everything goes safely and non-violently, and wakes people up. That would be nice. But we're not going to talk about those things today. We're going to take a different direction. So we'll take off our political social hats as much as possible. Put on our dunce hats. See if I can fit my dunce hat back there. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There we go.
uh, and we're going to talk about what it try that again. How to book a session and why you should book a session with a psychic or spiritualist, energy worker, that kind of a thing. What that's like, what it entails, how to get the most out of your session, what to watch out for, and fees you can expect, that kind of a thing. So that's going to be our topic of discussion today. And if we get some audience members, we will definitely offer readings to people as well. So there you go. Everything's happening all at once. Everything all at once. So, um,
Wonderful.
so yes, yeah. So before we get going on that, it's important for you to connect with us after the show in case you're interested. So I'm going to let Adrian share her contact information.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. I do a lot of readings over Zoom and telephone calls, also in person. If you happen to be in the Orange County, California area, I'm in Irvine. One of the best places to find out more about my services and fees, and even some upcoming events, would be my website, which is ravenmessages.com. I'll also take a call, or you can text me at area code 714-376-7289. How about
Nice.
you, Lawrence?
And I will say you should check out our website. It's very professional and really interesting, very well done, and
Thank
an
you.
enjoyable visit. Yeah. Do you any events coming up that you want to share with people? Should we talk about that?
Well,
Anything
let's
happening?
see.
There's a
On the
psychic fair, maybe.
28th,
Mm-hmm.
which is still a couple weeks or so away, I will be participating in the excuse me, holistic fair. That's it,
Mm-hmm.
in Laguna Woods. It's at the it's the OC. Heart Space Holistic Fair in Laguna Woods, and it's quite a day. It starts at 11 a.m., goes all the way until 5. There's a variety of different practitioners there, healers, psychics, mediums, um, and the price range varies as well. And then there's some free stuff that goes on also during the course of the day, different lectures on various topics. So that's usually the last Saturday of the month, and it's. I think everybody has a good day, has a pleasurable experience there. So I'm doing that, and then I'm putting together a series of 4 classes in August on developing your intuition. So more, I'll have more information on that sometime soon. So
Nice.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
Very good. Very good. I'm excited. Well, yes. So my name is Lawrence Birch, and I am contactable in a variety of ways. You can call me or text me at 541 344 7534. You can also email me. My email address is givingtree@earthlink.net. My website's givingtreefarm.com, right there.
Yeah.
And my Facebook page is Giving Tree Farm Herb Company. So lots of options have we. Well, uh, now might be a good time for you to consult a psychic or maybe get some energy work done since you've tried everything else and it doesn't seem to be clearing up your issue. Or perhaps you're curious about uh, what it would be like to have somebody read your cards. Uh, or maybe you heard somebody got really great results from a shamanic practitioner, or maybe there's a relative that has been showing up in your dreams and you'd like to be more direct about contacting them. That's maybe a sign to go visit a medium like this person over there. So we're going to talk tonight together about what uh, might be the reasons why you would go consult with a non standard but very traditional uh, spiritual person for your needs and what to expect and what to be aware of and how to get the most out of your session with your person. So that's what we'll be looking at today. And if we are uh, receiving questions from the audience, then we will definitely address those and be happy to do some readings, energy work for people as they show up. Excuse me. Okay. Well, still not working. Well, um, here's a good question to throw out there for both of us, maybe to contemplate. Ms. Stratton, do you remember the first time you saw uh, an energy worker or got a tarot reading or a spiritualist, or one of the earliest times you went to see somebody for that kind of work
Mhm.
yourself?
Mhm.
Peeling back the layers.
I can't. I can't. I can't remember who that might have been because it was quite some time ago. But I can tell you that some of well, well, of course, I was curious about some of the things that I was beginning to experience, and I felt so like out of place, like I was looking for somebody that I could talk to about some of my experiences or how I felt. And I didn't feel really comfortable going to a traditional like psychotherapist, um, uh, because they're many of them are trained, differently and are not. We're going back a long time. Yeah, I think
Hmm.
people are a little bit more open and conversations flow a lot easier these days than they used to. But
Hmm.
for myself, having been through traditional therapy when I was young, very young, and then a little bit later on seeking some guidance and direction from a healer. It was because like I said, I was looking for somebody that I could talk to and try to like, I don't want to say normalize, but at least be able to talk to somebody that might be able to understand what it was that I was feeling and experiencing.
Hmm.
And that was some of the early reasons anyhow. And as time went by with various things that would come up, um, traditional psychotherapy anyhow is a very very long process. I mean, um, the therapist would they used to have clients, in session for years and years and years,
Hmm.
uh, and even these days it's still a pretty lengthy process, and it's really because they're following a particular structure for the most part in
Right.
in in their approach to making diagnoses and what have you. And
Hmm.
it's not that that is wrong. Certainly, I would not
Hmm.
say that. But I will tell you that what I've heard so often from my clients is that, wow, you just really like got right to it, and
Hmm.
that is one of the things that I have found, certainly with working with other professionals, other psychics, other healers, is that there's such clarity involved with the way that a spiritual person or healer will work with an individual. So much clarity. So it makes the process a lot faster, a lot easier, and I think to some degree, much more comfortable as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting, how going to somebody who has training in the spiritual arts can really oftentimes cut through all these layers and just get to the heart of the matter. And
Yeah.
you know, the spirits aren't really interested in wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
They're pretty direct. So that's been my experience on both ends, receiving and giving for people. Um, and if you're ready for that approach, or you've been trying other methods and you feel like you're still stagnant, it can be incredibly uh, incredibly healing. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when it's done in a loving way. Yeah, I was thinking while you were talking about what I was going to share, and I remember my girlfriend from high school that I continued to see in my early college years, and who I'm still friends with actually, uh, had a family friend who was a massage therapist, and she also worked with crystals, which
Mm-hmm.
back when I was younger, I had only the vaguest idea of what that was. Um, but but a friend of mine and I helped her out with her Christmas tree that she'd gotten, putting it up, and she claimed to be, talking to the tree, and that she went out and selected the tree and cut it herself, and it talked to her and everything. And later, my friend and I kind of disparaged her conversation and made fun of it. We're like, "What did she say to the tree? Hey, here I come! I'm going to kill you!" And the tree was like, "Ah, you cut my legs off!" So you know,
Oh, oh my.
so we were pretty full of ourselves and reckless. But I ended up getting a session with her. I think I did some kind of work for her, and we did some trade or something. And so I think what I remember, and I may be making some of this up, but was, she asked me if I wanted, an energy treatment or if I want a massage. And I think I said, well, I haven't had an energy treatment. Let's try that. Thinking, what could happen. So, so she put me on her table, fully clothed, no blankets or anything, and I was just lying there. And I think she gave me some basic direction to clear my mind or whatever. And she took this kind of innocuous looking little crystal and started passing it over my body. And I had the weirdest sensation going on that I had no reference for and could not explain. My my skin felt like it was being pulled by this crystal. As she would pass it down, there was like a little lag time of maybe half a second, and it felt like, all my it wasn't happening, but it felt like my tissue or something from underneath me was coming up trying to connect with that crystal through my skin, and my skin, wasn't allowing that to happen. But each time she did that, it was this weird sensation like there was a hook in me or something. And it was, or like there was a magnet under my skin and it was responding and almost magnetically to this crystal. And it happened, each time she did that. I was like, uh-oh, this shit's for real. Now I can't make fun of it.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
right.
Now what am I going to do? You know? And so we had a session that followed after that and talked about things. And then she also did rebirthing, right? And that
Ah,
was a big thing. And she had a machine for it that she got. It looked like kind of looked like a more advanced version of this electronic toy that was big when I was growing up called Simon Says. I think it had colored panels on it. You could push it and it would say different things, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is like a big version of it. And it did, projected colored lights on the ceiling. It was the whole thing, psychedelic. So I got in a group of people with that. And there was a lot of breath work involved and hyperventilating. And a woman next to me went through the experience and she had her whole, you know, remembrance come up of going through the birth canal and all that stuff and the trauma. And, you know, so we're there to support her. And it was overwhelming. It was pretty amazing, really. And I still don't know quite what to make of it, but um, she definitely had an impression on me and kind of cracked my egg open quite a bit, so that when future experiences came along, I was a lot more willing to suspend my disbelief and be open to them. And then I started to develop my own direct experiences, which led me down the path that I am still on. So grateful to her.
yeah.
Yeah, but pretty funny. When people come to see you, Adrian, what kind of services can they um, ask for? What do
Yeah.
you provide? What kind of things do you offer people?
Well, I would say that the majority of the clients that I see privately, anyhow, have
Hmm.
an idea of what they would like um, to have experience,
Hmm.
what kind of experience they would like to have in what areas. So, of course, it's pretty common for people to say, yes, I'd like to try to connect, like to have you try to connect with my deceased so and so. So, mediumship reading.
Hmm.
And that's pretty straightforward. Um, and so there's that. And I think I think I'll share all this also, as I have, I think, before, but nevertheless, I always like to brand new people, brand new clients. For me, one of the first things that I will ask them if they're looking to do a mediumship reading, I ask them if they've ever been to a medium before,
Hmm.
and and what was that? Was it, positive experience, or, this or that? And then I usually will tell them that all mediums, we work differently, have our own styles, what have you. And then I'll go a little bit further and I tell them that the um, almost said Manhattan medium. the, the, Teresa, the medium that's on TV.
Mhm.
Um, and I have a lot of respect for her, certainly because she's done a lot to bring mediumship um, more into the mainstream. But I tell people right up front that you can't come into my office and expect to have that kind of immediate results. I said every once in a while, if spirit is ready and they have things that ready to communicate and it goes according to what you're desiring, yes, that it can happen pretty quick.
Mhm.
However, that is not always the case. I said,
Mhm.
so what is portrayed on TV is that the you walk in, you sit down, and the medium starts telling you all of these bits of information and goes on into conversations and what have you. And so I let them know that so that they understand how it works, and
Mhm.
so that they're not disappointed
Mhm.
with the results, at least hopefully.
Mhm.
So I wanted to make mention of that. Teresa, I think, is, like I said, wonderful. I've actually
Mhm.
even gone to see her,
Oh, really?
um, not
Mm.
privately, but at one of her shows.
Mhm.
And you know, um, at any rate,
I think she's
so
a Long Island medium. Is that
yeah,
what it goes by?
Long Island medium. Yeah,
I was thinking Staten Island because she seems to fit
yeah,
that type, but
yeah,
no.
that's right. So sometimes people will come in um, and they'll say something like, well, no, I've got some areas that I'm really concerned about. And it oftentimes it's career, it's money, and it's romance, and
Mhm.
it kind of fits into one of those categories.
Mhm.
Um, and so depending upon the person, depending upon uh, what I feel about them energetically. We may just sit and talk for a while. I'll read their energy, just go straight into it like that. Or, or I'll say, okay, let's see what the cards have to say, and I'll pull out a deck of oracle cards and start there, and I give them feedback on those particular areas. Now, one
Mhm.
of the things that happens often, and it's because I am a medium, you know, uh, sometimes their loved ones from the other side show up,
Mhm.
and I will inquire, I'll say something like, "Oh, by the way," I said, did your mom cross over some time ago?" Yes. Well, because I'm a medium, I just want to let you know that she's here and she's, sending you lots of love. And anytime you want to talk, you know, she's open to it.
Mhm.
So that'll happen a lot of times. Doing a card reading, people from the other side sometimes will show up.
Mhm.
Um, so, in addition to providing like just a straight, like energetic, channeled kind of reading or oracle cards, sometimes I will pull out my pendulum. And
Mhm.
pendulum I use to answer specific yes or no questions. And so
Mhm.
those are fun, and
Mhm.
clients like them, and they're accurate often.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, so
Okay.
that's what it's like. And most of my sessions are at least an hour.
Mhm.
Sometimes uh, for a oracle card reading, I'll do a half an hour, and happy to do that. You know, at the fairs, sometimes we even do 15 minutes.
Hmm.
It's not a lot of time, but at least, I can usually get in there and tap into, enough information for a person. So, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So it
Hmm.
sounds like, if I'm correct in hearing you, you offer mediumship readings, tarot slash oracle card readings, and
Yeah.
then you work with a pendulum as well.
Yeah.
Are there any other spiritual gifts that you offer to people? I mean, I guess you do
Um,
psychic work,
no,
kind of the thread that holds everything
yeah, I
together.
mean, those are the primary ones.
Hmm.
I may do some guided meditations with them.
Hmm.
Every once in a great while, I'll pull out a drum and do a little drumming for someone.
Hmm.
Um, but that's about it. Those are my core areas. Hmm.
Hmm. And you mentioned, most people come to you for one of three things, money issues, career, or relationships.
Yeah.
Do you specialize in anything else? Like, do you do any kind of, animal healing, work with animals or anything, or,
No, not really. But but as a medium, I certainly become very much aware of when, a person's beloved animal, that's on the other side will come through,
Mhm,
and I'll let them know that. I don't fancy myself so much as an animal communicator, but
mhm,
every once in a while I do. So,
mhm. Now, recently you also are featuring jewelry on your website. Is that
oh yeah,
how does that tie into what you offer, and
yeah,
what can you
hmm,
tell us about that?
yeah. Well, and you can tell, I wear a variety of different, like,
You do.
jewelry myself,
You're very
various
blingy.
rings,
Hmm.
uh, you know, black onyx. This is citron here.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, this is, I don't know if you can really tell, but it's more of an aqua, marine crystal, um, and then amethyst here.
Hmm.
And I wear, more,
Hmm.
just more,
Hmm.
and so I do it. Uh, I wear specific things mostly for protection,
Hmm.
um, energetic protection, and or calmness, kind of that combination of things.
Hmm.
And the jewelry that I have for sale at Raven Messages Jewelry, is all like Reiki infused. So what that means basically is that these beautiful gemstones that I have for sale, which are necklaces. These are all necklaces, various necklaces. They've been infused with a high vibration of energy, healing energy, loving
Hmm.
energy, supportive
Hmm.
energy,
Hmm.
and uh, I certainly recommend people wearing, various things that feel good to them,
Hmm.
and yes, I absolutely do think it's helpful, and um, yeah. Hmm.
Are you able to field requests from people for specific energies that they may be looking for in jewelry, or do you just kind of have a selection and then they
Yeah,
pick them out?
I can.
Hmm.
I can, if somebody had, a piece that they were really looking for.
Hmm.
I can probably find it.
Hmm.
Probably find it.
Hmm.
One of my, I thought I guess I put it away. I have a piece that I was going to sell. I think I may keep it, but
Uh-oh.
it's black amethyst,
Oh.
and an agate that I forget exactly what it's called, but it's green and it's like moss and almost like this combination of moss and coral
Hmm.
agate,
Wow.
and it's really it's a stunning heavy piece, but
Hmm.
just stunning. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, maybe specifics. What are your rates and fees for all of these goods and services that you
Yeah. Well,
and do you also do events? You do events too. What do you
I do events.
Mhm.
I do corporate parties and
Mhm.
birthday parties and sure, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, People can always contact me for that, and the for private parties and what have you, the rates will vary, depending upon driving time, how many people, and how long is the event.
Mhm.
So those are all things that have to be figured out.
Mhm.
But I don't, if in an emergency kind of situation, especially with a client that is uh, known to me,
Mhm.
if they are experience some really difficult financial times and they desperately feel like they need a reading, I'm not going to I'm not going to turn that person away.
Mhm.
um, but my price ranges $100 for an hour. It's oracle
Mhm.
energy readings, and like I said, every once in a while spirits from the other side will come in. So sometimes it's really quite a good deal. And then my mediumship is 150 for the hour.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's what I
Okay.
charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are the price ranges on your jewelry pieces? Are they necklaces or
Yeah.
bracelets
Well,
or
there
rings? Mhm.
it's
Varies.
it's some of it's fairly pricey. I
Mhm.
but the thing of it is that I'm so to try to answer your question. I would say that for the most part, it ranges from 150 maybe all the way up to close to $400.
Oh, okay.
But I
Mm.
will I'll work with people on the price, and if it seems appropriate, we need to do a couple of payments, I'm open to doing that too.
Mm, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
Thanks for asking those questions, Lawrence. I appreciate that.
Sure. And
Yeah.
do you ever offer like a package for people? Like if they know they want to see you for more than one session, people maybe book two or three sessions in advance. Do you ever
Uh,
have that happen
I
sometime?
don't do that,
Hmm.
but it's not terribly uncommon for me to, especially if someone, especially if someone is really kind of in crisis, kind of a crisis mode, and they're coming
Hmm.
on a regular basis and what have you. I'll discount their sessions a little bit,
Hmm.
just as a just as a way of saying thank you for your trust and um, yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay. And I assume that you work in person, but also do over the phone or Zoom calls, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And are you at any particular location at any time during the month? Do you have a shop that
I
you work out of, or
I mean,
I know you
mm,
do the psychic fair? That's a monthly thing, but
yeah. I have office space available to me.
hmm
Actually, at the Laguna Woods uh, Center.
hmm
That is available. I see some people at my home here in Irvine, and I'm open to doing that after we've had consultation or two, um,
Sure.
and um, and then a lot is over the phone or Zoom.
Do you do house calls?
Yeah, on occasion
Mhm.
I have been known to do that.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, how about you? Now, I mean, I'm quite comfortable talking about the things that I do and services and what have
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Um, but what, you have you have um, you have somewhat of a different background, somewhat of a different approach. Uh, and as a shamanic healer and herbalist, what do you find what do you find to be oh gosh, what do you find to be who's the client that comes to see you?
Hmm. Um, well, it can really vary. Um, I haven't been doing as many readings as I did when I was still partially based down in Southern California. But I have clients that come to me who are looking for spiritual insights, and maybe they want to do some work with tarot cards. So we can definitely do that, and I often incorporate psychic work with that, and the spirit guides that I work with show up often during a card reading. I have a bunch of different decks at my disposal, but I mostly work with um, the Morgan Greer deck. So it's kind of a classic deck. Looks like that. That's one of
Uh-huh.
the cards. Um, and generally, I kind of picked this up from my former spouse, but I pretty much just work with the major arcana cards, the suit. When I work with them, they're like the big picture kind of intense message cards, and so I don't worry too much about the lesser cards because they're more for specific things. I wouldn't go so far as to call them trivial things, but I want to give my clients solutions. I really just kind of see myself as a problem solver, and so you know when people come to me, that's how I first present myself. You've got an issue, you want to get it resolved, you want to talk about maybe some creative ways to re-examine it that you haven't been able to look at, because we all have this happen to us where life deals us something and we're just too close to it to really have perspective. And I think that's what a lot of uh, spiritual healers like ourselves do, is we help people gain different perspectives, and we listen. We're just here to really pay attention to what somebody is presenting with, and give them some honest uh, you know objective feedback. So that's kind of the groundwork that I start from, no matter what modality ends up being selected. But if I'm not doing psychic work, and I'm not doing um, working with my cards with people, then I might work with a client with shamanism. And so I'm not an indigenously trained shamanic practitioner. So typically, I refer to myself as a shamanic practitioner rather than just a shaman. That's my way of showing respect to people who came up through
Hmm.
uh, more indigenous trainings, um, and have that as part of their background and cultural connection. But the spirits are there for everybody. So and shamanism is a very universal modality. I will explain it to people as basically a technology. It's a way to gain understanding, and it's present in background form, at least in pretty much every major religion that you can think of. You know, if we frame them a little bit differently, we could say, Kuan Yin was a shaman, Jesus was a shaman, Buddha was a shaman. So, um, but it's not a religion. Shamanism isn't a religion. It can be in, in part a part of religions, but in and of itself, it's really just a way to connect with spirit and bring messages back to people so that they can gain an understanding. Uh, and there's a variety of ways to do that, which, at some point, maybe we could talk about more in depth in a different time. But, but people will come to me, and so we'll do a shamanic journey for them. That's kind of the starting point. A diagnostic journey is what it's called. And then just assess. Sometimes people will think they have a spiritual issue, right? And then we'll contact their guides and or my guides, and they'll say, nope, this is not really spiritual, this is something physical, and here's the da 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 da. So I don't do medical uh you know spiritual healing because I'm a little bit hesitant about that, which reminds me, woo, they wake 'em.
Oh,
they're,
excuse me.
they're in a green.
Carry on.
um, yes, so while that's happening, I'm going to make our disclaimer. So even though we are professionals here on the Psychic Funhouse is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So if you are looking for financial or legal advice, please seek out the appropriate professional who can help you out with that. And then you can come back here and be educated and entertained by your spiritual professionals. There you go. So I was just running our disclaimer in your
Yes.
absence. Time to do that. So yeah. So um, okay. So we were talking about shamanism. People coming to me for shamanic purposes, right? So I'll do a diagnostic journey and assess what's happening. Maybe there's something purely spiritual going on with them. Maybe there's a combination of things. Um, I kind of consider myself a plant shaman, so there's a lot of uh, messages that will come to me from plant spirits or plant guides for people when they come to see me, and then that's the third leaf, I guess you could say, on my tree, which is herbalism. So I'm a trained, certified clinical herbalist, and so that's where a lot of people will come and find me too. Is when they uh, you know want something from the plant realm to heal them, either a product that I can make or connect them with, or something on maybe a deeper level. And then, we kind of can go from there. I also teach. So I teach classes primarily in herbalism, but also shamanism and things of that nature. So
I have a question for you.
you have a
Um,
question?
I do. So,
Yes.
so,
The answer is no. I'm
ah,
sorry.
okay. um, the is there much difference um, in how a tree might communicate, or the level of energy in a tree compared to that of a rose, for example? Um, or is it similar, or is it the same?
Okay. Ask me that again.
Okay. So in the practice of talking to um, the spirits that exist within the plant life, when one wants to communicate with a tree, is
Hmm.
that energy from the tree different? Do they have a different story, so to speak, than that of a rose energetically? Or is it the same?
Hmm. So between plants, is it different in the
Yeah.
way that they communicate, um,
Mm-hmm.
versus how people communicate? Um, well, there's a few different ways to go about answering that. I think it could be tempting to maybe over anthropomorphize somewhat, you know, um, and turn animals and plants and other beings into kind of a version of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think the danger in that is both oversimplifying things and making things more complex than they really need to be in your communication process. The nice thing about accessing the spirit plane is that it kind of acts as what I would call a universal translator for us. So when you use spirits as intercessionists between you and whoever it is you're trying to communicate with, uh, doesn't really matter what the language is between uh, you know people or people and plants or people and spirits or other objects. There'll be an understanding achieved by going above and beyond what we're able to accomplish here on just the physical plane, if that makes sense. Um, as far as plants having communication styles or personality, um, my experience, which is kind of mostly what I can speak from, is that age has changes the way that a plant communicates, um, and whether or not it's a type of plant that sticks around for a long time, like a long-lived perennial, or whether it's more ephemeral and is just here for a season. Um, my communications with trees have been, uh, I would say, kind of more of a sober nature. Like they tend to be more serious. Maybe isn't the best way to describe it, but there's more weight to their conversation. They have kind of a. It feels like they've amassed more wisdom or knowledge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the older the plant is, the more I've noticed that too. But they also all kind of draw on really a deep, deep uh, sense of understanding of how things are. And tree. One of the names for trees is the standing people, right? Because they are rooted in one place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you go back to Tolkien, where the Ents were roaming around for a while, lifting up their roots and walking around. Trees are pretty much in one location. So it takes a lot of courage and focus and stamina to be able to be that grounded and be that in place. And I find that that's probably one of the biggest things I get from the plants and especially from trees is that they're really grounded in place. They have a deep sense of their surroundings and connection to it, and it really helps me to connect with that community by starting off connecting with a tree in the area. So I don't know if that really
Cool.
answered your question or not, but
Hmm.
maybe a little bit. Yeah. Uh, I should mention that we have somebody asking a question that we have probably just enough time to get to. And it's somebody who has had a reading from you in the past, uh, named Elizabeth, and she's asking a question. Um, so maybe we can get to that uh, before the show ends. How does that sound?
Sure.
Yeah, for that. Okay.
It's great.
Okay. All right. So this is Elizabeth's question. She mentions that so this is in one of those categories we were talking about as a romance question. Um, she says, "I'm romantically interested in a woman now, and I'm curious if she feels the same, and whether or not we would be a good match for each other. Thank you ahead of time." Okay, so let us cogitate on that, make some connections, Elizabeth, and then we'll see what the spirits provide as an answer.
Well, what I can tell you, what I can tell you, Elizabeth, is that um, without maybe even a little bit more information about your connection with this person, um, what I do see, what I do see is you being very, very happy. So I see you entering into a phase of great joy and just great joy and great happiness. And you know those kinds of feelings I don't want to uh, it's almost um, it's so difficult just to say that being happy is just one thing, but or positive. I guess that's the word that I wanted to use. This is beyond positive. Um, uh, when one is experiencing great joy, which is always the case when you're tapping into it on the inside, it's not about the external things that bring us joy. We experience it within, and and then it becomes like this reaction to things that are outside of us. So I see you truly moving into a time and place where there is great joy inside of you. And it feels like this is a period of exploration for you, a period of um, like connecting the dots. It's almost like moving into a time and a place where um, you start finding yourself. So, in regards to this new person that's in your life, and wanting to know if she is interested in you, I can tell you that yes, there certainly is a connection. How far that goes, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I maybe I could, but right now with the information that I have, I can't see it. I can't see it being long term, but that's not to say that it couldn't be. So what I would say is that enjoy, really, really enjoy the time and the connection that you have with this person. Enjoy, really enjoy that deep feeling of joy and satisfaction that you're feeling within, and go with that, and go with that. I do see you uh, connecting very well with this woman, and um, in over a period of some time, getting to know one another further will be helpful. So I won't say no, forget about it. I will say enjoy it. I will say yes, there is a connection. Take your time with it, and love yourself. That's what I have.
Hmm.
How about
Hmm.
you, Lawrence?
Um, yeah, I would say slightly different view of things, but maybe parallel to some extent. So, Elizabeth, what came to me was that you want to know if this person feels the same as you do. Well, they don't. They don't feel the same. Um, it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. It's just where you're coming from. I think is pretty new, and there's a lot of awakening happening, and there's some reawakening and reconnecting happening, and I think there's what's coming to me is that there's kind of an urge for you to put all your eggs in one basket with this person, I think, and have them really validate you, and and really return these feelings, uh, and feel supported, and authentic, I guess, is another word that comes up. And all those are really good things. There's nothing wrong with wanting those, or hoping that those are going to be part of the ingredients in a relationship with somebody. um, what what I'm getting is that this person is in a different place than you are with themselves. It's not better, it's not worse, they're just different. uh, I think they are open to exploring things with you. Maybe they will convert to your level of intensity. uh, my suggestion is to have some conversations with them first, and you know um, what Adrian was telling you was to kind of spend some time being introspective with your feelings, which can be really difficult if you're wanting to communicate what's going on with you with another person. When there's this need to make a connection, bridge that, and and all the wonderful things that can potentially happen, especially in the beginning of a relationship. But I would say, as much as possible, be true to yourself with all of that, but create space for this other person to come up to speed if that's what they're going to choose to do, uh, and not, you know, not try to control isn't the right word because I don't think that's what's happening, but um, give them the space to discover what they really feel about uh, you, and entering into that kind of romantic situation. If that's something that they can meet you 100% or 50% or whatever. There's chemistry between you guys. I definitely feel that. I guess I'm just not clear on what that's going to look like once it's all spread out on the table, and you're both there kind of looking at it and making decisions. But I would encourage you to open up to this person because they feel like they're going to be very respectful and caring and supporting no matter what happens. So I think it's a it's a safe bet in that regard. Um, whether you're a good match for each other, I think that's it's not clear to me one way or the other. I'm not saying that you're not, but I don't know that this is a life partner material. I just don't know. I'm not seeing that aspect of things between you clearly yet. But you can move on with things. Take our suggestions and information we have to share, and then you can come back and let us know what happened. You know, and like we used to say on our other show, you can always uh, take part, take advantage of our dating service where we you know come along with you and
Oh, yeah.
sit a couple
Oh,
tables
yeah.
away and just we have a little earbud and we psychically tell you what to expect so you can have a really constructive
Okay.
experience first time you go out or something. um, no, I'm just kidding, but anyway, we definitely want to know what happens, and hopefully some of this resonated and is useful. But thank you so much for asking the question, Elizabeth. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I think that's wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. And yeah, like Lauren said, please keep us in the loop. Let us know what's going on, and happy to help.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on the show, and tell a friend and come back. We're rebuilding our audience, so it's always great to have great people be a part of the Funhouse. So thanks. All right. Well, I think it's time. We're a little bit over. So, Adrian, why don't you share with the crowd of people clustered around us what's the
Y-
best way to contact you?
Yeah, so if you're interested in contacting me for reading, uh, check out my website. Lots of information there. The website is ravenmessages.com. And you can also call me or text me at area code 714-376-7289. And I'm happy to hear from you and happy to help. How about you, Lawrence? How can people find you?
Well, they can find me by very common ways. They can find me by phoning me. They can find me by um, emailing me. They can text me. My phone number is 541-344-7534, and email is givingtree@earthlink.net. And my website is givingtreefarm.com. Check that out, see what's happening there. And then my Facebook page is Giving Tree Farm Herb Company. So, and we are here every week. So the Psycho Funhouse is a live show that meets every Friday, uh, and 6 to 7 p.m. Um, we also have recorded shows on our channel that you're welcome to check out and let us know what you think. And we're always happy to have new people find us and old friends come back and
Absolutely.
hang out with us. So yes, and at the end of the month, I will say that we have our first guest booked for the show, and we'll talk more about that next week. But they're a fellow shamanic practitioner, a good friend of mine, a friend of the show. They've been on before, so that should be interesting. And when we do a show, we tack on an extra half hour so people get more quality time with our guests. So we'll go from 6 to 7:30 when that happens. So there you have it. All right. Well, uh, thank you so much for coming on the show, everybody, and thank you to my lovely co-host. the amazing Adrian.
Thank you,
And
Lawrence. Thank you
yes,
for everything. Mhm.
hmm likewise. Yeah. And we'll see you next week. And may everything go your way. And may you be free of tyrants this weekend and forevermore. So,
Indeed.
yeah, be well.
Okay. We'll
All right.
see
Thanks,
ya.
Adrian. Yep.
Bye.
All right. Ciao for now.
Bye.